All right, we're going to start in 1 minute. So last minute bathroom breaks, get something to drink, and we'll start in about 1 minute.
Thanks a lot. I know
you've been good.
I'm good.
Busy?
Yes, have been. I have met.
We can try it. He wants to know what you're interested in. Everybody wants to know what you're interested in.
Yeah, that way.
That's all. Sarah, so, yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
Absolutely, because you need a place to test.
Can you hear me, Allie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Maybe in a 2 weeks.
Hopefully you can hear the video.
They want to hear about how you successfully.
All right, you guys ready to get started? Everybody can take their seats, please.
Basically, we ask counseling help to anyone who shows up with a concern, a question, or a challenge. Much of our time is focused in Central America, where we travel between several villages supporting people in pain with pain and injuries. We have also had hundreds of conversations with farmers around the world about everything from their health issues to difficulties with their farm. Almost every farmer I've spoken to has an overlap of the same troubles. Their expenses of both time and money are high. Their revenue comes under various and sometimes unknown threats, and the wellness of their plants needs nearly constant attention. Many farmers have heard about the health concerns directly associated with what they spray on their crops, but without a clear path forward, they will repeatedly use those products until they find a better way. They will prioritize buying these products only because it's a system that they recognize and they know how to use, even if it doesn't support the majority of their long-term goals. Because farmers have to do whatever it takes to keep their yields consistent so they can accommodate their expenses throughout the seasons, And because we usually have sunk a lot of time and money on equipment and materials, making changes to their setup feels like an overwhelming challenge to them. My job has been to help them find a better way forward with a do what you can with what you have where you are perspective. And I try to step into their shoes and recognize the lived experiences of their day-to-day life. We focus on natural and locally available materials to replenish and stabilize the soil and form solutions based on what individual farmers have tangible access to. We create customized approaches that help develop better balance in their farming practices. When I learned about the three-product system that this network is currently experimenting with, it piqued my interest, primarily because it is by farmers for farmers. It is addressing the needs of the soil and the plants and encouraging better immunity for the entire farm. And it can be fine-tuned to address these challenges instead of pursuing outright eradication, which tends to be more expensive and causes a lot more problems. And it fits into my desire to support the wellness of farmers, families, and communities by offering practical guides for farming in a more responsible and plentiful manner without disrupting their routines or needing new equipment. Your farm is a complex and alive piece of the planet. It doesn't only bear your name, it bears the results of generations of farming activity, often where only one type of crop was present at a time. This form of farming is referred to as monoculture farming. And while it has been the backbone of America's farming industry, it's causing a lot of challenges for the farmers who use it and for the environment around them. Because this type of farming depletes nutrients from the soil, we've done crop rotations, sprayed fertilizers and nutrients, we've met swarms of pests and imbalances, and primarily all of this is because we just don't have the biological components to help keep those factors in check. Through my research, I've discovered that plants which have a regular source of nutrients have a healthier immune system. Much like humans, having their health needs met is equal to having stronger health. With good health, these plants are capable of living more harmoniously and responding to biological threats in effective ways that keep these threats in greater balance. These plants also produce higher yields and healthier, more nutritious produce. So the question for me becomes, how do we create healthier farms while still utilizing systems that farmers understand, which are convenient, accessible, and will not only ultimately save them money, but will minimize their need for endless products and expenses or unhealthy temporary solutions? I believe this network is addressing this question head on. Utilizing the current practices most farms in America are already accustomed to, the agri-harvest system harnesses the immense benefits of magnesium hydroxide in nanoplatelet form, alongside NutriPlant 643 and deer repellent. It supplies a robust 360-degree support system to your plants. This setup aims to create better balance in your plants and soil. It allows for the use of your current equipment and protocols and decreases the need for harmful additives while increasing the 360-degree health of your pots, fields, and orchards. While we won't make promises that you'll never again have troubles, we do believe that by engaging with our network and utilizing these methods, you'll see a dramatic increase in the health, wellness, and yield of your plants. And we've got scientific results alongside actual real-life field studies to support this belief. The people here at New Water Farms are just one of many locations that have been testing this system. I'd like you to hear a bit from the people who manage their crops and develop their farming practices. They'll tell you what they've done in the past, how they've been supported and challenged by their old practices, and how the agri-harvest system is changing the lives of their plants and their produce.
First and foremost, thank you guys for coming to 360 Living Soil Alliance. Change the name, so I like it so far. Yeah, let me find my slide. Here's my presentation. Give us 1 second here. Oh, it's not. Should we get it? Testing 1, 2, 3.
We can hear you. You're doing great.
First and foremost, my name is Nick Stonebreaker. Thank you guys for all coming here today. I just want to start with a quick prayer so if everybody can bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for everybody's safe journey to arrive here today at Southern Prep. This ground is very special to a lot of people in here today and just in history in itself. A lot of historic things have happened in here, and we hope to add one more thing to that. As we leave this, we all just ask for your forgiveness as we aren't perfect, but we strive to be each and every day. We all come together here as one underneath your name, Lord, Heavenly Father, Creator of all. In your name, amen. The seeds we plant to build a community are just as sacred as the seeds we plant in the ground. That's by Allie. I still can't say her last name. I do apologize. I'm trying to. I butcher it every single time. I just want you guys to think about that over again. The seeds we plant to build a community are just as sacred as the seeds we plant in the ground. That means a lot. Think about from beginning to end. Building a regenerative community through more resilient agriculture. And for everybody doing online and here in person, if you guys want to scan this, we'll also have this up here after, which is our pages for YouTube and our Facebook, the 360 Living Soil Alliance. Some videos, way to network with people, and so on and so on.
Yeah, if everybody could go to Facebook, you can join that 360 Living Soil Alliance and become a member, and you get access to a lot of different things. But that's a new thing that Allie's created that access to a lot of information. So if you can join that, start following, that'd be great.
It's a community within a community, and always just something good to keep up with everybody, just to see what's happening in all walks of life. Because this network does stretch east, west, north, south, even other countries. So it's just really cool to see other people's experiences with that. How we treat land affects how it in turn treats us. And we're seeing that now. All of our farmland is becoming less and less and less. The soil quality, the plant quality, even going to grocery stores. The vegetables you guys have seen growing up and fruits to see, what my generation is seeing now is nowhere near the same. The quality of it's gone, especially coming from California. A lot of our soil is being sold because you can't grow on it. So it's being sold for home and development, which is very sad to see because California produces a lot of this country's agriculture, especially in Bakersfield where I'm from. So seeing that change is very important. We can bring that soil back any way possible. I know, I got it. This quote's by Franklin D. Roosevelt. A nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. A nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. It's pretty self-explanatory too, because without our soil, we can't grow anything. Without us being able to grow anything, we're relying on canned food and just not good in general. Gotta move this video again. Sorry about that. The biggest problem we're facing today is established practices are damaging the soil, such as overtilling, monoculture, toxic chemicals, and overgrazing. Again, you can see that established all throughout the whole entire country. You can log on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, any social media nowadays, and see what these four objects have done. And just like I said, in the quality, you can see it very thoroughly. And some of the symptoms associated with the damaged soil is decreased nutrient density, water retention, earthworms, and drought resistance. Sorry. Scotty, are my glasses over there? Sorry about that. I gotta get my glasses to read this now. So let me go over that. The decrease is nutrient density, water retention, earthworms, and drought resistance. What's being increased is fruit and root rot, pest problems, plant wilting, and leaf discoloration. Scott is going to be able to discuss this very thoroughly later after I'm done discussing this very lightly. This is a quote from the documentary Kiss the Ground. I believe you guys have shown that in New Water. Okay. A quote from that is, soil is the beginning of the quality of food. Soil is the beginning of the quality of food, and really does establish that everything from the soil is being sucked into the roots, to the plants, the fruits, etc. So again, we're emphasizing it all counts down to the soil. Best practices for healthy soil. We're going to build the soil health using cover crops and compost, minimize soil disturbance, no-till. I know some of the old school farmers, that no-till is a battle constantly today. You guys all know what I'm talking about. There's going to be no synthetic pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, or fertilizers. Living root in the ground year-round, and crop rotation and plant diversification. I'm going to choose Scotty Mangrum, Agri-Harvest Solutions. He's going to explain to you guys in a lot more detail and to show you guys some slides, some things we've been working on across our network, and he pretty much has the knowledge about what he's going to be explaining to you guys. So welcome, Scotty Mangrum. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. So it's just the down, brother. Okay. All right. So I'm Scotty Mangrum. I'm a fifth-generation farmer. Grew up about 9 miles from here. Attended this very school that we're at today for 8 years. Graduated in 1987. I want to talk to you today about some of our products that we have available and what we're seeing in our testing of these products. Ryan is now using some of our products here to do testing. Dr. Brandon has been testing. Dr. Brandon and I are partners in another farm, my farm, which has been in my family for 5 generations. And we are testing there also. So we've got some pretty good stuff to show you now that we're this far into it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on. All right, so in 2025, we tested several products and methods. This was a kale that we planted. This kale, you can see the untreated versus the treated. These, by the way, are the exact same age. They came out of the same the six-inch pot that they were in. They both came out of, they're all the same age, planted at the same time. This is what the difference between regular fertilization, because we use regular fertilization practices. We use a triple 13 granular fertilizer on the untreated, and then we treated with the magnesium MgOH2 and the NutriPlant 643 this kale. And you can see, I don't have timelines here, but I need you to understand that's normal growth. This is the rapid growth that we see using these products together. This is a cabbage that we did the same thing with. Normal growth, again, treated with a triple 13 granular fertilizer on the untreated, fertilizer with that. This was no granular fertilizer, only the NutriPlant and the MgOH2. And you can, like Dr. Brennan said last time, you can probably get you a little meal out of that cabbage right there, right now. Now, these cabbages headed on out, and they were somewhere in this neighborhood about that size when they finally headed out, and I donated them to a food bank. So this is some Roma tomatoes. They were started at New Water Farms in the greenhouse. There's pretty much I did not pull the rain leaves off of these because I wanted to show the size difference in these plants. Untreated versus the treated, same deal, the same fertilization practices, everything. I want you to look at the difference in the size of these two plants right here. Now that speaks volumes right there on what we can do with this fertilizer and this magnesium combined together. This is a bell pepper that we harvested. We did some extensive testing last year on bell peppers, and we found that, and I'm going to show you another picture in a minute, but we found that most of our untreated bell peppers we lost to a blossom end rot. So we probably lost about 50% of that crop, of the harvest of that crop, to that blossom end rot. I wish I could say every bell pepper that we treated came out this size, but they don't. This one, we see this in this range of weight. You can't really see it, but that's a normal bell pepper size. It's about 3.87 grams. This bell pepper, look at the color on it. You can see that colorization right there at the top. This one was at about 7.81 grams, so almost double in size, which is incredible. And the taste is something else. So this is our 2026 growing season so far. All right, so I threw Nick's aloe plant in there because I want to show this. This is incredible. So Nick has been doing, so we're testing on the farm in field conditions, but Nick's been taking care of our testing garden up in Jacksonville. And this poor aloe plant was on its last leg here, and 1 week, right? Nick treated this, and 1 week later, I want you to look at the size of this plant, how much it grew in a week. And look at that bloom coming out of it. And look, dead plants don't bloom, folks. All right, I just want y'all to know that. So now it has 3 blooms. We're 2 weeks later. I think there's some other people here. Hope has a testimony of the same caliber where she had a dead plant, she brought it back to life. We like to resurrect the dead around here. All right, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, look at the difference in this plant. That's, to me, and I've seen this in an aloe plant that I treated, so I'm glad you did that. I didn't take pictures of it, but it got massive, and this thing's not going to quit. I mean, now that it's underway, it's going to continue to grow. And I drink aloe juice all the time, so I'm glad to see that. I want to get this to the aloe farmers. So this is some peppers. What kind of peppers are these? These are mini bell peppers that Nick was growing. This is the second harvest off of these peppers now. I think what he was trying to show here is the bloom set along with the fruit that's ready to go. So we've got harvestable fruit, and then we've got bloom set continuing. So we have each stage of that fruit production on a scale that we don't normally see. I think that one over there shows the blooms. You can see those blooms. I'm going to walk around there. I want to point this out to everybody. So normally a bell pepper plant, the scientists will tell you that a bell pepper plant will never produce more than 15 bell peppers in its lifetime. I want you to look at this. This second harvest, I don't know how many harvested off the first one, but look at that. Each one of those blooms, look how many blooms is on this plant, along with these mature fruit. It's incredible what we see with these peppers. Now, we've never tested many bells before. So this, I'm excited to see really how much he winds up getting off of this, so we can do our percentage. This is a strawberry plant that Nick had treated. Again, now this is, look guys, my strawberry plant, my single strawberry plant is in a pot that big, and it is exactly that big. It's got leaves on it as big as my hand. And it's got fruit right now. We are in what month? June. We've had some 80, 90 degree weather. But look, we got strawberries. I want to tell you, strawberries are cool weather plants. Huh? Strawberries are cool weather plants. They do not like the heat. They will die in the heat. Look what he's got right here. Look at that. That's a bloom. Mine are doing the same thing. So we're seeing that these strawberries are producing, and their heat tolerance because of the magnesium is off the chart. Also, their drought tolerances are the same way. So we've got these plants that are now normally a cool weather plant that we can grow in humid climates. Oh man, what does that do for production in countries a little further south of here? We don't know. We need to test it there. Allie, I'm talking to you, girl. This is some sunflowers that Nick did. How old are these sunflowers? 700. So that was April the 15th. April 15th is when he planted these. Today is what? So that's 2 months.
And they're mammoths.
So these are mammoth, all right, mammoth sunflowers. So if we were harvesting sunflowers from these, we would already be at a harvest time. That's about a month ahead of where they should be. Okay, everybody hear that? The tallest ones are over 6.5 feet now. So these are 60, let's just gonna say, we're gonna say they're 60 days, all right? So these mammoths are normally 90 to 100 days before they're ready. So, ooh, wait a minute, what? And look how many he's got. Are you getting double blooms?
Oh, they're getting blooms, you can show this one picture.
So he's getting double blooms on a sunflower. You don't normally see double blooms on sunflower, okay? So for sunflower production, what does that say? Oh, you can see this all too well. There we go. Right there in that. There we go, right there. That's off the 6-footer. So this sunflower is multiple heads. We do not normally see that in sunflower, especially on field production, okay? We normally get one bloom. If we're lucky, we get 2 blooms. So we've got multiple blooms on 6-foot tall plants that are at least 35 days ahead of where they should be on blooms on the fruit bearing side of it. Okay, so let's put that into a production terms for a farmer. All right, I just came in 30 days ahead of everybody else. All right, on my picking, because they're still waiting on bloom set. Mine are already blooming, and they're continuing to bloom. This is where I'm going to get into it. I think you got some watermelon pictures. Oh, tomatoes.
Hey, Scotty, I think also it's really important that you understand from a revenue harvesting standpoint, that's critical. But for the beneficial part of that in your system, now you've got 30 days ahead for pollinator attraction.
That's right.
That benefits the rest of the system.
That's right.
So it's not just a revenue piece, it's a beneficial boost to the health and the production of whatever else you're growing.
I sent him a video of how the bees are inside one of the sunflowers. And I sent that to our group on our network page. And we'll put that in the next presentation of these bees. We'll just say there's butterflies, hummingbirds, bees coming in. And I will say, I don't know this for sure, but the overall plant, the overall garden looks great. The soil's great, everything's coming out great. And we don't have vermin, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but we haven't had deers or anything. We just have bees, hummingbirds, and butterflies. It's been pretty peaceful night. So these are the big boy, better boys, right? No. Those are big boys. Okay. So here's what I want to point out to you. Typically on a tomato plant, if you've ever grown tomato in your backyard, you know you might get, if you have a cluster of blooms, you might get two tomatoes off that cluster, okay? And typically it's 3 bloom cluster, and you're lucky if you get one. You'll get one, but you're lucky if you get 2. We got to count this together, y'all, because I want y'all to see it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomatoes off of a cluster. 6 tomatoes from a bloom cluster. And just so people will believe it, look at the middle picture. There it is again. And those are all different plants. These are all 3 different pictures of different plants. So look, this is amazing, y'all. This is why we get these massive yield increases that people can't understand. And unless you're sitting here looking at it with your own 2 eyes, you're never going to believe it. Because if you're ever growing a tomato, you know what you get off of it. Here's another thing. Hey, Nick, how much malathion have you sprayed on this? None? No, wait, what? How much liquid sevens have you sprayed on this? How much fungicide have you sprayed on this? First application 643 on it about 3 weeks ago. The only thing you put on it was magnesium and the 643. All right, look, everybody's growing tomato knows by now you got blossom end rot on these tomatoes. All right, you got bugs trying to get in here and eat them up. Look at these tomatoes. And we see the same thing in the field. Doc and I can definitely attest to that. We've got more tomatoes right now than we know what to do with. We're about to sure enough have tomatoes. We're going to have a tomato sale pretty soon. All right, that's what I want to show you. This watermelon picture. This is where we get into what's incredible to me about this product. All right, so this is a progression of these watermelons
over the last 3 weeks, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's when I first sent you the first one.
All right, so this is the first one 3 weeks ago. All right, so then, and these are jubilees. So these jubilees will wind up, probably this big, that big around. If he grows them like my daddy did. This was about a hand size, and this was this week, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this cat is taking off. So here's what I want to show you. And here's what we don't see in watermelons or cantaloupes. This is incredible. See that fruit that's maturing right there? What's that? A baby. What is that? Whoa, wait a minute. So Nick sent me a picture the other day, and I hope it's in here. But if it's not, it's okay, we'll put it in the next one. It's 4 cantaloupes within that length, within 16 inches on a vine. 4. Look, guys, typically you get 4 off of the whole plant.
My biggest vine, when I plant these, and we'll do before and after ones next time too, all my watermelon, I did it in the center with about 7-foot clearance around. They've taken over my whole entire garden. I've had to pick up and remove the vines and dilly daddle and basically root them a different way because they're overtaking. The biggest vine's 14 feet long. I measured and I have over six watermelons on there now, and I still have it blood. So they're from tiny, the biggest one's about that big, and the smallest one just sprouted that big.
Okay, so we do not see that. This is what we see in these tomatoes. This is what we see in these peppers, and now we're seeing it on watermelons. I need to go to South Georgia, guys. And North Florida. That's where they grow them at. I need to talk to them, show them these pictures. Yeah. This is what we can do for you right here. That says volumes. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I sit up here and push it all day long, but this tells the tale right here. And the growth, the massive growth in these plants is incredible on this fruit set. So, typically we'll get 3 if we're lucky from the whole plant. A watermelon, let me describe a watermelon plant, a cantaloupe plant to you. All right. They start out, they have runners that come out, vines that come out from them. All right, and typically this is how it works. These vines, and this is what we're about to get into, so that's what's going to make this so exciting. Typically, when you get fruit set like we see here, and these fruit get mature, the vines die off. All right, the vine will die off, and then you're ready to pick. All right, so what you got is what you got. So if we got 1 fruit per vine, that's what we get. If we're lucky enough to get 2 per vine, which is very rare, that's what we get. The vine dies. So it's going to be so interesting to see if these vines don't die. So if we get mature fruit that we can pick, and we've got a live plant, still, what does that say for production of watermelons and cantaloupes? That's right. The only thing that's going to kill it is cold weather. Oh yeah, see that. Yes, ma'am. That's a bloom. So look in that third picture, you'll see that bloom right there. So that's bloom set, all right beside a brand new big watermelon. All right, I love it. Look, we've been wanting to test these watermelon cantaloupes for a couple of years now. So man, I'm so excited about these tests. I don't know what to do. This is Nick showing the size of these watermelons over that progression period. He's using his hand as an example. Look at, you can see the size. These cats are taking off. All right, we've got massive growth in these things.
Now my soil is good. I will say that. I have water naturally in there, microbiotics. I have a lot. It's just good living soil. So that has lots to do with it as well. But I noticed from the beginning, before I used the magnesium, it was about a 2-week period of me going back and forth from Oxford to from Anderson to Auburn to Anderson. And then the first dose of magnesium, it was like boom. They just grew. And every 5 or 10 days I sent you photos, and they were just double and double and double. And so no joke, where they're overtaking a whole front property on having to actually weed eat around, and so the vines have a clear path to life.
So let me say this before I move forward off those watermelons. Okay, so this is a very controlled environment that Nick has in.
It means they're getting plenty of water, all right? These watermelons are ahead of the field watermelons for a reason. Because the field watermelons went through about 6 weeks where we didn't have a drop of rain. All right, not a drop of rain when it was in a critical growth stage. So they really are about 6 weeks behind these, because these have been getting water the whole time. Those field-grown watermelons are 6 weeks behind because they went through that drought. Look, we didn't lose any of the treated watermelons on the field side, but we did lose some that weren't treated to the drought. So what does that speak about? Drought tolerance. Here's why we know for a fact why we're getting it. So the synopsis of benefits is this: a healthier plant produces more fruit. Okay? Why? Because we have a greater root mass to support, right? To support that fruit set. To support that fruit while it's in the middle of its growing cycle. All right? It's able to take up more water. It's able to take up more nutrients. Now remember, we are not applying any fertilizer. I apply fertilizer one time to the ground. Everything else is foliar apply. Oh, I know farmers don't want to hear that, but that's what we're doing. We're not putting it in the ground. We're putting it on the leaf. And I'll get into that in just a second. All right. So stronger stalks in corn, larger stalks on your tomato plant, your plant base, increased nutrient uptake. Right there. Greater root mass, more nutrients can go to the plant. Look, here's something that a farmer knows that most people don't. When we get into this fruit set, we have normal fruit set. There's a normal way that we fertilize. Okay, we have to keep that plant fertilized, fed. All right, but when you have the amount of fruit that we're seeing on these plants, if you're trying to do things the old-fashioned way, you are spending money on fertilizer, because the plants they'll outgrow their food. All right, and then you're losing everything. So you're back. But what we're seeing now is that we're seeing with iron, fertilizer, and magnesium that we're using, we are able to sustain these plants. But now I am spraying them more often with the fertilizer. So I'm fertilizing more frequently than I normally would have to try to sustain what we've got, the plant mass, the fruit set, the blooms. It's all part of it. More resistant to pathogens, pests, and diseases. I showed you the tomato plants. All right. We asked Nick what he put on them, and all he said he put on them was what we gave him to put on them, the magnesium and the fertilizer. So that's all they have on them. Healthier fruit. I can't wait to see what the taste is like. Watermelon. Oh my God. I love watermelon now. So I can't wait to see what the cantaloupes and watermelon is going to taste like. We get larger fruit. That's going to be another thing that we're in the middle of this testing on. How big are these cats really going to get? More flavorful, sweeter fruit, greater budding. Y'all saw that. Y'all saw the pictures of that. We had maturing fruit with blooms right beside it. All right. Higher fruit production. Oh, wait a minute. What does that say to the bottom line for a farmer? Okay. Supple and firm at harvest. Absolutely. Everything I've picked is delicious. We don't have any pest problems, and I'm not having to kill my family with, oops, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry, with pesticides. Synopsis of benefit, increase in the harvest, 17 to 400% more fruit. That's a fact for us. That's what we've seen over our testing. Now, these watermelons are going to add to this. So but hey, when you get 400% more fruit out of something, I'm sorry, you feed somebody with that. Our mission is hearts, minds, and souls. Okay, Jesus fed people. All right, and he multiplied that 5 loaves and 2 fishes to feed 5,000. We can do the same thing right here. We can put more stuff out there on that smaller basket, and we can get more fruit out of it. We can feed people with this. We can feed the world with this. Decrease in loss of fruit. Hey, when you're battling bugs and you're battling pathogens, you're going to have a decrease in how much fruit you get. I'll guarantee you that. I'm going to go one more. All right. Anyone can become a beta tester for this product. The magnesium hydroxide that we sell, I want to get into that just a little bit. I want to touch on something. I want to touch on why that we think, and we know why this magnesium and this NutriPlant work so well together, even with the liquid deer repellent that we use. And that's our system. We use the magnesium hydroxide, the NutriPlant 643, and the liquid fence deer and rabbit repellent that you can buy anywhere. Doc's been using this photo mag because it's got some added trace elements in it that he's testing on. I'm not using it on the farm, and neither is Nick on what we're showing you today. But here's what it's called. It's called monolayer bonding. That's a term that most people have never heard of. Monolayer bonding is what this stuff does. This magnesium is a platelet form. So I'm going to give you a quick example. Most magnesium is a rod or a sphere. So it's a very small surface area for that magnesium. Our magnesium is a platelet form. Our magnesium is like, let's take this table, for instance. We got this big flat surface up here. We got these tiny thin edges. We got a big flat surface on the bottom. All right. This NutriPlant fertilizer will bond to that magnesium platelet. All right. So when it bonds to it, it doesn't wash away very easily. Okay. It does not dissipate with the first rain that comes along. We're talking about a foliar applied, all right, product. The liquid fence, same way. It monolayer bonds to that platelet, so it retains it more, it holds it longer. Okay? I want to emphasize that because these are just incredible results we're getting here. We are encouraging anyone who is wanting to become a beta tester to get in touch with us, and we will gladly get what you need. I think Doc's coming up with some packets that he's going to have. I'll let him speak on that. Okay. All right. So, a farm is nothing without the community that it supports. Nick hit on something a while ago when he said, in Bakersfield, California, the land is dead. I want to tell y'all something. 60% of the food for this country comes from what state? How about that? California. Kern County, California produces that agriculture. What would you say the rate of that dead land is? Look, when it's dead, it's dead.
Medically modified baby carrot, they created the baby carrot. GSC. They also make smoothies, and both of us also owns tubes, the little orange. They're selling their land at a fast rate for home building. Properties that I've seen more than my whole entire lifetime.
So,
Usually.
I don't know if everybody heard that online. Nick said that what he's seeing in his home state, in his hometown, is the farming land is being sold off continuously for housing development. Okay, so how are we going to feed this country if 60% of the food is supplied to us in California and we're selling the land off because land's worthless to grow because it's what it is, it's become so dead that it costs too much money to produce on it. All right, so more and more and more fertilizer we're going to throw at it. More and more pesticides we're going to throw at it. All right, more money, okay? It's got to the point to where they can't sustain it, so it's better to let it go. That's the mentality behind that. Hey, guess what we can do, guys? We can grow a whole lot more on a whole lot less. Okay? I'm fired up about this, and I want everybody to see my enthusiasm about it because I know growing up my entire life, seeing this stuff from when I was a kid, growing watermelons, and this takes me back to my childhood and how my daddy had to do it and how we had to do it back then. How much money we spent then on fertilizer. Okay, how much fertilizer we put in the ground trying to get these plants to be the same thing that we're seeing right here, and we're getting more out of it. We're getting more with less. Oh, wait a minute, what? So the community that support, I want to get hit right there because these neighborhood gardens, there's one right down the road here. Camp Hill's got a greenhouse that they grow out of. I think the church up at Lake Community Church, they've got a big garden. We've been kind of involved with them on that. We went and did the irrigation for them. Doc's given a bunch of plants and donated a bunch of time to it. So, you know, the main thing is feeding people. How are we gonna do that when we don't have land to grow on, when people aren't, you know, educated about what they're eating? Because what you eat is what you are. You know, hey, look, we're being poisoned. I'm gonna stand up there and say it. I don't care. We're being poisoned by big ag. Look, your Roundup Ready corns. Eat your cereal, man. Eat a corn based. Eat a wheat based. Eat a rye based cereal. Guess what it's been sprayed with? We know this not because Scotty's standing here saying it, because we've seen the test results that have been done on it when glycophosphates are found in it. Eat a can of that dead corn. Woo, Lord have mercy. Eat some cyanide while you're at it. I saw that too. Yep. Pop-Tarts. One of my faves, man. Broke my heart. That's right.
Really, really small. Here in New England
That's right. Because of the wheat and the barley and the rye that they use for it, it's all treated with Roundup.
That's up on the food that. I don't know if everybody knows this, the World Cup here right now, they're happening all across our country. And you see people on social media posting about our food. It's not the best reaction. They say it's tasty, but the after reaction to gut hurts, the stomach hurts, they're going to the bathroom a lot more. They're having more side effects, and real side effects. Our portion here is like triple what the rest of the world has. For fries, burgers, everything. I saw a person actually funny because I have orders from Texas Roadhouse, and they broke open one of our bread rolls, like this is not bread. They went back home and their grandmother broke open one of their bread rolls. And you can just see the spongy how their bread is actually bread, or it's just bleached dough, basically. That's got all the nutrients.
So what Nick's saying is, with the World Cup being here now, we're seeing on social media an uprise of people from different parts of the world saying that our food is really not up to par. It's tasty, but the after effects, which we know what that is, bloating, going to the bathroom, heartburn, blah, 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 is that they're all complaining about it. So this is a community garden in Matthews, North Carolina. How many houses? Do you know how many houses this thing? We don't know the number of houses, but this is how it's done if you're going to do a community garden, okay? This should be like the blueprint for everyone who wants to do a community garden. I think I know they could feed that amount of houses right there out of there. Hey, if they had our product, they could feed 4 times that, baby. Improve your soil now with the help of our regenerative agriculture community. All right. So yeah, get with us. Let us know what you think. Become a beta tester for us. I think some people in here are already testing. We'll be glad to help you. There's all kind of resources that will come up with. I'm going to let Doc come up and talk to us this out. Give a little speech. Team up with us. United is a dedicated community of like-minded individuals, spark meaningful shifts in the global agricultural environment, revitalize, renew, and sustain our soil without the deadly ads. I love that. That's a quote. Y'all can quote Doc on that. All right. Consciously create systems that boost yields, health, and taste, regenerative use of our resources, both physical and financial, grow more food in the same amount of space. Look, when we say we're dedicated to becoming more intentional stewards of our land, we mean it. And the waters and the community, we mean that. That is what we are trying to do here. We want to create a movement. Hey, how do you change things? You create a movement. A movement will change things. All right, go ahead, Doc. Thank you, guys. I think he needs a little bit more enthusiasm because I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, where did he go to school? Said, what's that? Best 8 years of his life was in 7th grade. Yeah, so one thing we're going to do to really encourage people in this venture, we would say, one of our sayings, start small, start now. I think oftentimes in the gardening food production space, most people think it's got to be big and you got to buy a bunch of land, buy a tractor. But this is about starting small because, as Scotty said, we can produce a lot with a little. So one thing we're going to help people do is we're going to create some gardening kits for fall garden. So probably around Labor Day, we'll have some kits available. So we're going to do a small, a medium, and a large. And these will be 6 cells of transplants, cool weather crops, some, and then side by side pre-treated seeds for the germination against the untreated seeds. So, give these out for the guinea pigs to test for us, but no, just kidding. And so there'll be different sizes along with product to continue to treat the plants as needed. So there'll be both the magnesium and the NutriPlant, so small kits. So we'll have those kits available. We're working on the pricing, and so we'll start to have that at the next couple of meetings to promote that. But that's going to be a great way for people you can grow them in pots. You don't have to grow them in the ground. It'll be all your cool weather crops, your lettuces, brassicas, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all those kind of really good, fast producing crops that side by side. So you guys can do the taste test, you can do the grow rates, all that kind of good stuff. So that's to help people get this in their hands. So treated and non-treated seedlings to start everybody off. So that's going to be coming up. We'll start putting those orders in probably in July. So we'll have that ready, but then it'll be the target date is kind of around Labor Day for the fall garden. So I'll share that with you.
Hey, Robert, the door prize winner at the last meeting has a testimonial.
Come on up, Pete.
You stand up and say, "Here I go."
No, come on. There's about 10 people watching you around the world. I'm famous.
I don't need to be famous. No, I had planted corn in a little 6x6 area just to see how much corn I could get to grow in a small area. It didn't come up. 2 weeks would not come up. I want a little bottle of your mixed spray. I said, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. So I sprayed all over the top of the ground. 2 days, they were 6 inches tall. Do not understand it.
One of our interns, who's small in stature, asked if he sprayed his body, would he be 6'2"? We're trying to make things easier for folks. So just if you can remember, we do this at New Water Farms the first Thursday of the month. So we've got some meetings coming up, and that does include lunch. So we're asking folks to help us offset some costs of that. And third Thursdays are here at Southern Prep. So there's those dates. You can sign up to get more information. As I said, look at the Facebook 360 Living Soils Alliance and make sure, why is your name so long? We had to get a lot of really good stuff in there. So 360 LSA, right? Is who we are, but that's a lot of great information there. So you'll have upcoming events as well. Just a couple things. Nick's mentioned it. A really good book, and I really encourage you guys to read this. It's a slow read because it's a lot of information. It's where our culture and society is regarding food. David Montgomery, his wife Ann Bickley, wrote What Your Food Ate. You could probably Google and find them on different podcasts because their message is the same. David's a career biologist. His wife, David is a geologist. His wife is a biologist. They combine great things. They got several books, 5 books out. E.B. Balfour is a very early in this movement in the 40s, European. So I recommend that book as well. Lots of great documentaries. This series, this trilogy of Kiss the Ground, Common Ground, and the new one is Groundswell, which just came out June the 4th. We will be promoting that at New Water and having a community viewing of that later this summer, so watch out for that. I watched one last night called Feeding Tomorrow. which is a really, really great. It's a lot of things on food, but it's a lot of North America kind of degradation of land and food systems and food supplies. But that's also a great book. One of the his name escapes me right now, but he's one of the presenters in the movie. Talks a lot about permaculture and systems thinking, and he's got a great story. And then To Which We Belong was a global thing around, mostly around cover cropping and livestock integration into the reversing of desertification. And that, I will tell you, in the groundswell, they had satellite images of these regenerative practices are put in place, and they're seeing in Africa, the green is moving north. They're reversing desertification, and lots of great food systems, water issues they're solving with Regen, capturing water in deserts and growing food. It's a really inspirational documentary. I said lots of podcasts, Joel Salatin, Will Harris, Gabe Brown, lots of these guys that are champions of this in our modern day area. And then we do have a YouTube channel as well that has lots of presentations as well. So 360 Living, go YouTube and then just Google 360 Living Soil, it'll come up. So lots of resources available for you. I mentioned YouTube, Gabe Brown. We have some of these YouTubes on this YouTube channel as a list. This is Allie's organization, Enduring Empathy Project. You saw a little bit about what she does in her presentation at the beginning. I would encourage you to check her out. She's doing things in a different culture, a different climate, different part of the world, but the basic foundations are the same as what we're talking about here. It's just a different context. She's in the jungle. They have food issues as well. They have lots of introduction of chemicals, and all the eyes are now becoming more commonplace in Central and South America. So she's combating a lot of that to promote healthy food and overall health. So Enduring Empathy Project. I'm not sure who made this slide, but if you want to stay in touch with us, apparently we're all getting personality maps here. So the moody guys in the back, Robert Mackey, you can say hi to him. He's our staff curmudgeon currently. I'm not sure why the Mad Doc got the guy. And if you really want to know anything, just email Scotty. He knows it all. So that's pretty good. I'm going to call Buck up to make this last part of our presentation. Jennifer couldn't be here today, so if you guys want to give a big round of applause to Buck Moore. Buck knows a lot too.
Didn't not know anything at all. I tell folks all I know is the brown stuff's under the green stuff, but I got a PhD in agriculture, got a fifth generation farmer. I can get you around the right people to answer your questions. So I want to give you a little history on 643, but also I want to go back to the idea of the 6 cells tested. How many have you had a chance to try this on something and not on something side by side? So I got a handful of people. I bet you're wishing, like, I'll get out, you'd only sprayed half that box. You know, I always think compare the two. Okay, all right. So it's really interesting you can't do that. So we got to find a way to do more of this. Now, I can't be the only one that did not know this, but you plant crops in the springtime. I didn't know there were fall crops. Am I the only one that had no clue there were fall crops? No one's going to know, right? I can't be the only one. You're the only one. I'm the only one that didn't know this. So I'm like, all right, explain this to me a little bit. I said, is there a way we can let folks do this? How do we make it as simple as possible? So if you have Dr. Brandon doing a seed soak of magnesium, the first foliar application, mixing up the product for you and buying a spray bottle for you and say, here, take this home, plant this here and that here, I don't care, in the dirt, in a pot, spray this on it here so often, a little bit of water, you know, take pictures, eat and enjoy, make it as simple as possible. I said, can we make that happen? He goes, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. I said, okay, explain this fall crop to me. I said, what are fall crops? So what do you want to put in there? He says, lettuce, cabbage, kale, collard, broccoli, and cauliflower. I said, all right, hang on. I need to figure out how to give them more than one of each. He goes, now we need the 6 cells. They need to be 6 treated, 6 untreated. I said, okay, can I do a small, medium, and large? I said, what's going to probably show best? It's probably the lettuce. I said, all right, so let's do a small being Here's spray bottle products, 6 lettuce plants treated, 6 untreated, ready to go in the ground. All right, that's $40-ish. We'll figure out specifics on pricing. The large would be all 6. So you're getting 36 plants, already ready to go, 6 different kinds. In addition to the spray bottle, some additional each product to be able to mix in that. That's probably going to run right around 200. Probably come with a little consulting, telephone, call me. But because I want you all to have these stories like Pete does. I hope coming up with her plan. Nick's more excited, and I've seen him in a while because he's had a chance to go test some of the stuff a little bit. So we need more than just 1 or 2 of us have done that. So, and also if you've got folks that haven't come to sit down with us and hear about this, maybe they'll spend $40 and try it in their yard. Yeah. So be thinking about not only, if you want to try it, but who else that might want to. We'll have that sort of ready to go, but if we can make that do really well for close to Labor Day, like you mentioned, that should be a good group of folks. But hearing all the stories from that should make spring a blast. Mm-hmm. All right, so a couple of pieces there for you. I want to give you that. So we also had, thanks to Hope, actually, we met with the folks from Auburn, all the bee folks. They were experts this last time. We're going to be seeing how much more involved they want to be with us, because that's a very natural piece to get around what we're doing here as well. So you'll see more of that. We saw an actual presentation at the farm last time. You're going to see that come more and more of a piece of this. So let me give you a little feel for this. We'll give you some history on NutriPlant itself. I'll click on the presentation. All right, I was going to drop this down a little bit so it doesn't block words. Well, they still can, right? Y'all just don't get to see me twice. All right. So I want to give you a little history on where this product has come from. NutriPlant 643 is made by the Nutrilite Corporation. Nutrilite was the first company. These are the guys that are the oldest and largest vitamin and supplement company in the world. They own their own farms. They'll take things from seed to supplements. They were bought by Amway Corporation in '72. They're now about 60% of the Amway business is Nutrilite. So we focus very much on one specific product, but you have access to quite a bit more to it as well. The Nutrilite has their own organic farms. I want you to understand that you're seeing some examples as we've gotten going with this that had just the NutriPlant 643 on it, and the plants did really well. And some plants that had just the magnesium product on it did very well. The two together are a 1-2 punch. This is a liquid foliar nutritional supplement. It's used in conjunction with the normal fertilizer program. Scotty mentioned he'd already used a 13 on both pots. What he was showing, I think, was a cabbage, if I remember correctly there. Don't you guys want your own cabbage to grow to see that, right? You got to get those things. All right. I want to show you a quick video that sort of explains more about it. I'll give you a feel for the overall business.
Organic farming are definitely the hardest form of agriculture. We consider the farm a living organism, so everything we do on the farm matters. Our goal is to grow healthy, nutrient-rich plants and to give back to the land by feeding it what it needs. Amway's farming practices incorporate a farming system where we don't use pesticides or herbicides or any synthetic chemicals on the farm. But there's quite a bit more to it. It's really the farm as a whole. We're constantly trying to improve our soil and our soil health and put nutrients back into the soil. Some of our ingredients originate from plants, and each plant has different needs. So depending on what the plant needs determines where we grow it. We have farms in Brazil, El Paso, Mexico, and also 2 different farms in Washington State. We also work with partner farms that share our sustainable philosophy. And this is through our NutriShare program. All of these farms are placed in these different locations because they have different topography, different climate, and allow us to grow the best plants for our products. Over the last few years, we've intentionally increased our regenerative agricultural practices. We're constantly trying to improve our soil health. in order to do this, it's more than just farming organically. It's making sure you're improving it year after year. We track every step of the process. Everything we do on the farm is traceable, from planting all the way through harvesting and eventually sending the plant off for final processing. I think for me, farming really allows me to work with the plants in harmony with nature. I think by incorporating regenerative farming, we are starting to think differently. We want to show that what we end with is more than what we started with. We're creating a sustainable future for the next generation.
I'm looking for. All right. So, do I need to enlarge this somehow? Sorry, I'm not seeing the button you're talking about. Oh, right here. I see it. Thank you. So this is built on the foundation of community. And we're seeing that a lot more out there. People talk about the community around us. Regen Ag has an interesting community to it. So this is an operation that has 70 years of networking excellence. So they're able to tie in a lot of pieces. I love this specific twist on it. We have the regenerative farming meets community. This is a great combination. Innovative solutions, sustains farming practices that regenerate soil health and biodiversity, vibrant network, connect with like-minded individuals passionate about environmental stewardship. So community roots, building relationships through shared values and regenerative agriculture. Folks have different reasons to be here. We want to honor that with each person that comes around us. Some folks just want access to the products and see how to use it, hear how other people are doing it. Others are, some are gardeners, some are farmers. Others are interested in more of a sales side, small handful. Bill is the master networker. I say that's one of the best ways to be, is because it's amazing how big this thing can grow with the folks that like to go out and say, hey, come meet my friends. So thank you guys for do that as well. So the business you own is the people you help. Our guiding philosophy of the true business is a network of people who help to achieve their goal. Nearly 70 years of relationship-driven success proves that lasting value comes from empowering others. So, pass it back over to you, sir. Nick, passing it back to Nick, excuse me. Thank you. You did.
I just want to thank everybody for participating here today, coming to the Southern. Like I said, these grounds have a big history, not just the agriculture side, just in life itself in this area. It's brought this area up. And just personally, it's a lot for me. On a personal note, for Scotty, it's done something personal. And for our whole network, we have people involved in the school and its roots. And that's pretty awesome to see that it all comes back to this foundation. That's all? That's it? Oh, well, thank you guys for coming in today. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank y'all. Bye, Ollie. Please stop this camera.
All right. Thank you guys so much. You did a great job. Bless you all. All right, everybody's still left on the Zoom call. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you'd like to reach out to the group, you can reach us at 360livingsoil@gmail.com. And our next meeting is July 2nd. So we look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.
This might chat up for the next one's meeting like a better view. And I know this has to be kind of sense. This is the